Hello everyone, welcome to Intro Factory. So we have 30 questions today, 10 HR questions, 20 hiring manager questions. So these topics are focusing today requirement gathering. Okay, so let's start with the HR questions. The first question is, what are project requirements? So your time starts now. Okay, so they are must-have task features, functions needed for the project success. Okay, so those are the requirements. Next question, what is requirement? Why requirement? Why is requirements gathering important? Sorry. To avoid confusion, scope creep, and ensure project success. Okay, so when does requirement gathering start? Which phase requirement gathering starts? At the initial phase of the project. Who are the stakeholders? Question number 4. Who are the stakeholders? Anyone affected by or involved in the project. Question number 5. What is scope creep? So every interview this question is asked. Okay. Uncontrolled addition of requirements. The next question. Why document requirements? To ensure clarity and alignment. Okay, so we are at 6 questions. So let's go to 7th questions. Let me put this one here. Okay, so we are at 7th question. How do you gather requirements? There are many techniques to gather requirements. Okay, so through interviews, workshops, and documents. Okay. What happens if requirements are unclear? So you will deliver the wrong product, right? And rework delays dissatisfaction. Question number 9. How do you get stakeholder agreement? I would say transparency is most important by reviewing and formal approval. How does requirements gathering help teams? It improves communication and alignment. Okay, so we have completed 10 HR questions. Let's take a look hiring manager questions. Okay, explain requirements gathering. So, process of identifying and documenting project needs. So next question, type of requirements. Business, functional, non-functional requirements. First step in requirements gathering. Identify the current process. Interviews, understand the business goal. Okay. So next question is techniques used in. This is all related to requirement gathering. Okay. So I think we had a similar question in the HR round also. Interviews, workshop, and document analysis. So next question, question number 15. What questions do you ask stakeholders? Goals, challenges, expectations. What is a requirements workshop? JD sessions, job shadowing. Collaborative requirement discussion session. Okay. Handling conflict requirements. So how do you handle conflict requirements? Okay, it's just kind of incomplete. Prioritize and get consensus. Okay, get alignment on the conflict. So let's say in a project, if you have multiple stakeholders, so get alignment and think what is important for the customer side. What is a requirement document? Formal approved list of needs. How to manage changes? So again, the same question, scope creeping, okay? Change request and approval process. How requirements reduce work? Sorry, the question is how requirement reduce rework, okay? Not work. Clear expectation upfront. So we can plan and estimate if we know the requirements clearly, okay? Post requirement pace. So it's asking kind of what is the post requirement pace? How does it looks like? So design and development start. What will happen after requirement? Designing phase in SDLC, development, testing, and UAT and deployment and maintenance. Okay. Role of a product manager, OBA. Facilitate, document, align. How to avoid scope creep? You see this question pretty much asked in every interview, right? Define and approve requirements. How to measure success? Acceptance criteria, definition of that. Okay. Challenges faced. Unclear expectation, right? How to prioritize? Business value based. Okay, what is customer need and what is business need? What is out of scope? Excluded items. Okay, example, mobile is out of course. You are only building for web. Why clarity matters? These are just generic questions. Reduce risk. Last question, how requirements guide life cycle? From planning to delivery. Thank you everyone. So before we exit the call, so this is a requirement gathering template. So you can use something similarly if you are starting new. So you can have the project overview, project name, business problem, project goal, and stakeholder name. You can create simple this one. Every project you can just fill up, okay? Stakeholder name and role, and you can add detail. Business requirement, what is the requirement? Functional requirement, system function, non-functional requirement, performance security, Assumptions, if there are any assumption, constraint, out of scope, excluded item, risk, acceptance criteria, definition of done, and priority high, medium, low, approval, approved by, approval, approval date, change management, change process, note, open question. So you can maintain this kind of Excel sheet whenever you get any requirement before write your user story, and this will save your time and energy. Okay, thanks everyone. I'll see you in a different video.